Hello guys and welcome back to Planet 40k. Something a little bit different today. Hopefully we're going to be able to bring you a little bit more of these hobby style videos in the future, depending on how good this review goes. As a team at Planet 40k, we've been trying to get into 3D printing, and you may have noticed in previous videos we've had a few experiments, but nothing has really sort of come to fruition. Now I'm not going to lie, I'm not the most technical person when it comes to 3D printing, neither am I particularly artistic, so other members of the team tend to pick up these kind of jobs when it comes to this kind of stuff. Now after trying two different 3D printers in the past, I think we had an Ender machine and one from another company, we basically gave up because it wasn't the machine's fault. The machines were absolutely fine, but they were just too big. They were too big, too bulky, too advanced for the likes of myself. But in the last month, a company called WEEFUN reached out to us, and they basically asked us to try their machine, try their 3D printer. It's beginner friendly, user friendly. It's a desktop 3D printer, it's not huge, and their advertising mainly seems to focus on pictures of children using their machine. So I mean, if a child can do it, then surely I can do it, right? You'd like to think so. So can we get to grips with this kind of machine? Let's hope so. I'm not going to hold my breath, we're going to sort of go through this together, and yeah, anyway, let me talk you through the unboxing of this machine. Okay, so first things we notice here, one, how small the box is, and two, how light it is. Now compared to the other 3D printers that came in big bulky boxes, they were quite heavy. This already filled me with a little bit of hope, and that it'd be something that we can actually manage. Also, it's worth pointing out here how quickly this arrived after ordering. Okay, so this is Tina2S 3D printer by WEEFUN. It's going to be available on Amazon. If you click on the link in the description box down below, you can get it for £177.99. Who doesn't love a discount? So it's very well packaged, you've got your warranty and the bags of bits all on top, and this little cube, it is the printer. This little cube right here. You can see from the way we're handling it how light it is, and yet it's still so strong and sturdy. It definitely doesn't feel like a kid's toy. So far so good. Now there is an instruction booklet included, but there's also a manual on a TF card, so we gave that a look through first. Apart from removing a few bits of tape and such that are there just to keep the machine safe in transit, that is basically it. Plug it in and off you go. Even putting in the filament was quite easy. I remember when we were setting up the last 3D printer we had, and that allegedly worked out of the box, but it took well over an hour just to get the collaboration test and everything to start it up. So it's going to do a filament purge, and then it's going to ask you which test print you want to do from the TF card. We selected the pterodactyl, hey, why not? So that was another member of the Planet 40k family, by the way. I haven't just randomly turned into a woman. So that is just the missus doing that. She's a bit more in tune with arty stuff. That's not for me. I just kind of want the 3D printer to do some terrain and whatnot. And in fact, that's what we're going to be trying to do with this 3D printer. So it's a modular terrain with a bit of a techno cyberpunk kind of feel. And it's going to be coming from a website called cult3d.com. So there's loads of free files on that website where you can download and get to grips with anything for the 3D printer. I don't know if we'll ever reach those dizzy heights of designing our own models, but you never know. You never know. Now obviously with the size of the printer, you're going to be limited to the size of the things you can actually print. But for us beginners, we need to start small and we need to start somewhere. So I do believe this company sells more printers which are going to have different sizes, so maybe we can test them in the future. But for now we're going to use this nice small box. Right, so we've gone away and we have printed something out. We have printed the pterodactyl, and I hope I can get this on the camera. It is, can we do that? Get rid of my face, that will help. So it is a 3D printed pterodactyl. This was our first print. I'm really impressed in how this was so easy to do. Literally, you just plugged it in, created exactly what you can see here. I mean, that in a way, it has sort of reignited my interest in 3D printing. I didn't realise it's going to come out sort of this good. So onto something that I actually want to print myself. And there is actually a handy QR code in the instructions manual which will directly download the app that you need, which is called Polar Print. Now there are literally hundreds of things that you can print directly from the app itself, but I want to be going for some modular terrain which isn't going to be on the app, of course. So the process goes a little something like this. So firstly, you need to have the STL file on your mobile phone. The process for me was from my Mac to my phone, so I just airdropped it to myself after downloading it from the Cults 3D website, as we mentioned earlier. Now you can also download the STL file directly to your phone from the website as well. So once you've got your account and you've all logged in, you go to the Me menu and select My Model Library. Click Add Model, and if you're on your iPhone, it will appear in your iCloud documents, and I'd assume it will have the same sort of files if you had an Android. I don't have an Android, so I wouldn't 100% know that. Select the STL file. You can add an image and the description if you want to, and then it will tell you which of the 3D printer machines your file is compatible with, and it will simply just say Tina2S, which is the one we're using today. So then we're all good once you see that. Press print, it takes you to the next screen where you can tell it what sort of filament you want to be using if you haven't already. And yeah, you need to connect the printer to your Wi-Fi network as well. That's another thing you need to do, but it is really straightforward. Press start and then you're pretty much on your way. If you look at the display on your machine, it will tell you the progress of the download of the STL files. This took less than a minute. Literally took less than a minute, and then it begins printing. My only tip that I would give you to make life easier is to not forget to put a little bit of glue stick on the printing plate. It does show you this in the manual anyway, and there also is a glue stick that's included in your bag of bits anyway, so I would advise using that. I forgot to do this the first time round, and yeah, the pterodactyl was sort of stuck quite firmly to the plate. I was able to prise it off and then just sort of scrape off any excess. Then I wiped it off and cleaned it up. But yeah, apart from that, I can't really think of anything else vaguely negative to say. So here's my first piece of self-printed Warhammer terrain. This is just a little square for now. Just giving it a practice. Again, I'll have to cover myself. Can we see that? Here we go. Just one piece of a building on the side. Of course, we need to marry that up to make something else. So in conclusion, is it the fastest? Is it the biggest? It's not the fastest, it's not the biggest, but for absolute noobs like myself, this has been a pretty good experience, to be honest with you. It sort of brought me back into believing that I can do this stuff. 3D printing as a whole is a giant rabbit hole, and once you get in, you get really lost and overwhelmed. But I feel like this is a really good stepping stone to get me back in and not overwhelm me with all this different stuff. And yeah, I think it's the right thing. I feel like now I could probably expand into a bigger machine, which will print me bigger things, bigger terrain. Baby steps for now, of course. We've still got a lot of things to learn. Now, if you think this is something that you'd like to have a go at, or if you just wanted to try 3D printing and you're not sure where to begin, or maybe like me, you've just sort of failed and backed away from it as a whole, then yeah, give this little machine a test. It's Tina2S from WEEFUN. It is available on Amazon, and we all trust Amazon. And yeah, you've got your discount code to get you to £177.99 by using the link down in the description down below. So a big thank you to WEEFUN for providing the 3D printer to us, and yeah, thank you for you guys for watching this review.